Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your Williams here with a brand new video for you guys today. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're all feeling good, feeling good. Your boy is back with another video for you guys today. This is gonna be a discussion video, so if you don't want to hear somebody yap, you might as well just hit that X and leave because it's gonna be a yap session. There will be some gameplay in here, but the first part of the video is going to be like a big yap sesh. Excuse about it. It's 6 in the morning. Literally got up like 30 minutes ago, but it'll probably be going by the end of the video. So today's video is about Passion FC. You know, like I play a Passion squad, and some people probably wonder. And some people probably wonder why you play Passion Squad. And you know, the reality of Passion Squads is, you know, as the title suggests, is Passion Squads aren't easy squads to run. And the reason why, you know, most people don't use a Passion Squad, I said this in my Twitch stream, that, you know, 97% of people who play this game are meta rats. And the reason is because it's just easier to play meta. Like, the inability to play a Passion Squad is a literal skill issue, because, you know, building a Passion Squad takes skill, it takes passion, and also just in game, like it takes skill when it comes to squad building, it takes skill in terms of making an evo work, it takes skill in finding players who have the right body types and who fit certain play styles and play needs. But at the same time, you know, in gameplay, it takes skill to play a Passion Squad, because it's just, you know, the meta is the meta for a reason. You know, that's just the reality of it. The meta is the meta for a reason. The meta exists in video games as a min-max or a more optimal way of playing a video game. The meta is the easiest way to achieve success without having to put in as much effort. That's what a meta is in most video games, or all video games for that matter. When it comes to FC, people don't want to play Passion Squads because they don't have the skill to, they don't have the know-how to, they don't have the ability to. And people who do play Passion Squads all have a rough time. And that's the thing that you don't hear from people who play Passion Squads, you know, talking about Passion Squads. They don't tell you how, you know, it takes a lot of effort to use a Passion Squad, because you pretty much got to be that much better than everyone else you play against, because you're playing against, you know, the meta. And you're playing against the meta AI, you're playing against the meta tactics, playing against the meta formations, you know. And usually if you're building a Passion Squad, you tend to not play meta formations because you want to avoid any kind of crossover into meta, you know. So like, you play Passion Squad, you don't want to play a 4-2-1-3. That kind of takes away from passion, because you're playing a ratty formation, you know. And then you have the discussion of what is passion. You know, passion, in my opinion, is, you know, using your favorite players, or using a past and present squad, or using an all nation squad. Let's say you playing like an Evo Croatia team, or Evo Colombia team, you know, an Evo Barcelona squad, things like that. For me, passion is, when it comes to like my squad, it's my main squad. It's a combination of my favorite players, like just my dream team of favorite players. Like, it doesn't, like, that's kind of like why I play this game. I don't play this game for the meta. I play the game for having this fantasy team, this fantasy football team, if you will, of my favorite players that I watch IRL now and grew up watching. I grew up watching Rio. I grew up watching, you know, Hoyland. I grew up watching Alice Morgan, and I grew up watching Yaya Toure, and I grew up watching Sonram. I grew up watching Messi, and I grew up watching, you know, some other players who don't make who hasn't made the team right now, like Thierry Henry. You know, I just don't have enough room for another striker, but those are players we're watching. Then there's players I watch now, like, you know, Sam Parello, Sophia Wilson, you know, Marta and Taylor Flint and Mon Monty and Rodman. Like, everyone here is someone who I'm an actual IRL fan of, and that's why they're in the team. They're players who I'm an actual fan of. I don't care about anything other than if it's a player who I like, and if I can create them to be, because of Evos, if I can make them into being as good enough as I can to compete in these higher divisions and compete with, you know, good players, to compete with the meta, you know. And so you will say, well, you know, Thuram is a meta card, Torre is a meta card, Ham is a meta card, Hill is a meta card. Having a meta card in your Passion Squad doesn't make your squad less passion if there's a reason behind them being in your squad. You know, like I said, I grew up watching these players, so, and when I say grow up watching these players, I don't mean in the sense like, oh, I know who they are, so they're in the squad. Like, I literally, like, these are my favorite players growing up, like, as a kid. Like, people like Rio. I said before, like, I'm a Barcelona fan, you know, United supporter. I do think there's a difference between those two words. I think a fan is a higher up than a supporter. I grew up watching Rio because it was, you know, as a young black kid, saw a black dude playing United. I became a United fan. The same thing comes like, you know, seeing seeing Ronaldinho for Barcelona. You know, so having a passion squad is hard. You know, it takes effort, it takes skill, it takes, you know how, it takes, you know, being able to do things in the game that majority of the player base can't do, because they have to be dependent on the formations. And it literally is, like, I know it sounds harsh to say that it's a skill issue if you can't play passion squad, but it literally is, you know. And you have people say like, oh, you got to use this, you got to use that, and you know, again, that is based on your own ability or inability. I do encourage playing passion squads. As we get into some gameplay here, I do encourage playing some passion squads. I think the reason you should play passion squads is just for the fun of it. Even if you are someone who plays meta, you know, you can build, I don't remember what the max is, like what, 20 teams, 15 teams in the game. So like, you know, you can build a meta squad, you can build passion squad, you can build, you know, as many teams as the game allows you, and you can just use your passion squad, you know, for rivals or friendlies, and you can use your meta squad for champs. You know, like, I have multiple teams, and the main team is the team that you were just looking at. And I have another team that I call the Sweat TG, and that team's like basically just passion squad part 2, where it's like it's other players who don't fit, you know, the main team. So you start seeing people like, you know, David Hale or Casillas or Vanessar and go into the Holy Choice. You'll see, you know, other players in at center back instead of Irene Paredes. You'll see other players in at the wing positions. They're just trying to have other players in other than just using just the main squad. I have a team that whatever the active promo is, so I just use whatever cards I'm packing from the active promos, which is one that you've been seeing lately. You've seen like a full TOTS team. You know, so you have to find your own fun in this game, and that's kind of like one of the things I want to point out is, a lot of people are frustrated with this game. A lot of people are angry with this game, and part of that's because you're trying too hard. You know, I said in my Twitch stream that when this game works, aka when it's not laggy or full and having like crazy delays, and you know, there's not, you know, RNG bullshit happening, it's a very, very good game, very, very fun game when it's not being ass. You know, and part of why I can enjoy this game is because of my team. If I played meta, I would be freaking miserable. I would hate the hell out of this game if I was a meta player. Because when you're a meta player, you're grinding the game to a different mental extent. You're also more likely to spend money. When you spend money, you're more likely to also try harder, because there is some kind of sunk cost fallacy, some kind of attachment that you have more so to the value of your squad, because you paid for that squad with real money. And this is any kind of like shade to people who do things like that, but it gives credence to why you would be more likely to, you know, be a meta merchant, to be a rat and things of that nature. But one of the things that I will often see in Twitch chats, things like that, is that you can't have success with evil teams. You can't have success with passion squads. This is Nepentez's evil team. Nepentez is in, I think, Div 4, maybe Div 3 with this squad, and I think he averages around 7-8 wins in champs with this squad. I think 90% of the community, maybe more than that, if they use this particular squad, wouldn't get out of Div 7. Maybe not even Div 8, but I'll keep you on Div 7. I think if most of the community, again, thinking 90% or higher, they use this team in champs, they probably wouldn't even qualify. If they did qualify, they probably wouldn't win more than 5 games. You know, that's just me being you know, brutally honest. You know, and again, 90% of the community wouldn't even touch a team like this. You know, Nep does it for fun, but it's also, you know, a showing of how good he is, that he can have success with this team. Make no mistake, if you can get to Div 3, you are a solid to good player. You know, if you can get to good Div 2, you are a good player. If you get to Div 1, you're a great player. You get to Elite, you are, as the name implies, an elite player. You're only 15 wins in champs. So if you're getting, you know, 7-8 wins, you're doing pretty solid. You know, you're doing pretty solid. And then when it comes down to like this particular squad, like he's using, you know, all bronze players who he's evoing. Every single person that you see in this image right now was a bronze player who he's evoed up to this point. and he uses all of them, even the 53 you can't see because my camera's blocking the person out. Even these 74s and 79s that you're seeing. At the same time, you know, we all play this game. We all know that sometimes with evil players, particularly silvers and bronzes, they still maintain their bronze and silver DNA, aka the bronze silver AI, but they tend to you know, do some funky things in game because their AI is actually bronze AI and not, you know, the AI that you expect for a player of their rating. This takes skill to play this kind of squad. You know, and people can say the one about the pen test, because he does get a lot of flags sometimes in his chat. This takes skill to run this kind of squad, and most people who will give him shit would never be able to play a squad like this. They don't have the skill or the ability to use a squad like this. So, you know, generally what I want to just point out, and the goal of this video is to encourage people to play passion squads, but also to be realistic about it. You know, like, you can't just play a passion squad. You're going to have to be actually mechanically good at this game. You know, because you're going to have to do things that other players who play meta don't have to do. You're going to have to make extra passes. You're going to have to play manual defense. You're going to have to learn how to, you know, do certain, you know, angled shots and how to dribble and things of that nature. Because, you know, the meta carries. Passion doesn't. Passion's all skill. The meta carries. That's why it's the meta. You know, and again, it's not an insult towards people who do play meta. It's not an insult to people who want to play meta. You know, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. It's your game. You pay for the game, play how the fuck you want. Personally, I can feel how I want about, you know, people who are ratty and things of that nature. But in the grand scheme of things, it's your game. Play how you want. But for me personally, you know, I have fun this way. If I played a meta squad, if I put together my most meta team, I would hate it. I would hate looking at it. I would hate playing with it because it wouldn't contain my favorite players, which is the draw for me playing this game. Understand that I only play this game because of NWSL. I was a career mode guy up until January or February, middle of February. Let's go with that. Middle of February, up until middle of February of 2024, 2023 technically. It was last FC. 2024. I didn't touch this game online. I was a career mode guy. And then I saw that NWSL was in Ultimate Team, and I was like, oh shit. I started playing Ultimate Team. Passion drove me to play this game online, and here we are today. Passion is the reason why I play this game online. And I encourage it. And I've gathered around people around me who, you know, are like-minded, who build passion squads, they build all-women's teams and things like that. And they'll tell you, it's hard. Not because the players are bad, it's hard because playing against the meta is tough. Playing against a 4-2-1-3 is tough when you're playing a passion squad. Playing against the meta is tough because the meta is meta for a reason. You know, the AI of those cards are just that much better to where the actual player doesn't have to do too much, just press Y or whatever button will be for PlayStation to do a through ball and then press B to shoot. That's kind of how the game is right now. One through ball, then goal. You know, whereas with passion squads, you kind of have to have actual build-up play because, you know, their AI isn't as good as a Teo Fernandez or as good as an Mbappe. I have a Mbappe. I gotta go to Mbappe. I could evo go to Mbappe instead of evo Sophia Wilson. Why would I want to do that if I have no attachment to Mbappe? But anyways, you know, the video has been long enough. I think the point has been, you know, got across, hopefully. I hope you all enjoyed this discussion video. I haven't had a discussion video in a while. We've been doing, you know, pretty much just, you know, live commentaries. But this is more of a discussion video. So hope you all enjoyed catching out on the next one. Even though, you know, the point of this video is to point out that it is hard to play passion squads, I still want you people who are thinking about it to do it. Because when you do it, you'll find a new love for the game and a new interest for the game, because you have a different kind of attachment to the goals you score, different kind of attachment to, you know, the squads you build, because it'd be a little bit more uniqueness to it. You'll feel that uniqueness. You'll feel like, you know, my team is different. You'll feel when you go into a squad, someone sees your team and like they might think to themselves, what is this squad I'm playing against? I've never seen that kind of evo. I've never seen that player. Who was that player? I've seen one person use Taylor Flint other than myself. One. Ever Plans Against This came out, I've seen one person use Taylor Flint. That's how rare of it is to see that card. It's a passion card. You know, that's just what it is. But that's it for me. Like I said, I'm gonna end the video right there. I'll catch you out till next one. Have a good rest of y'all day, y'all night, your evening. Stay safe, be kind to others, free to be kind. I be waiting to game Archer. I'll see you guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.